Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pets, People, Life and Longevity. I am Jan Jeremias, and I'm here with my canine companion. I really often don't think he's a companion because he's really like, yes, you, the love of my life, Tonka. And so a little bit about me. I am a trained scientist who began exploring holistic and alternative healing about 18 years ago. I began my journey with the use of essential oils and began exploring other modalities such as Reiki, gentle massage, and other energy work for pets. And I also work with people. My motto is always the leash goes both ways. So that's why I dabble in both. I'm the co-author of the top-selling essential oil book for pets called Spoil Your Pet, a practical guide to using essential oils in dogs and cats. And today I'm here with a new friend, Alexandra, and we're going to hear all about her. She and Wiggle actually are here, her little sweet little white poodle that's sitting on her lap. And if you could see him, maybe someday when we have video, you'll see him. He's so adorable, or she's so adorable, I should say, she. So a little bit about Alexandra, just to before she begins. So she's passionate about helping others, especially pets, be the best versions of themselves by providing them or their pet people and the pets with tools to use that help, for traits that have been considered what we quote unquote might be called bad. So she's trying to promote well-being for these animals. And she created this while battling PTSD in her 20s. And she had to learn for herself how to reframe the cognitive changes which were harming her well-being and to find a place where they could sort of become tolerated and manageable, and they could become an asset to her through helping animals. She began to understand and how animals work. And then she wanted to work with animals that maybe are misunderstood or behaving badly because they don't have a healthy outlet for their energy. And so Alexandra found her passion and purpose and started her company along with Wiggle called Canine Innovation. And it's really a cool tool. And I hope she'll describe it because a visual is usually better. But in this case, you're going to have to take her verbal explanation. And so welcome, Alexandra.
Hello. Hope everyone's doing well.
And so why don't you tell us a little bit about what Canine Innovation is and again, how you created it in your own words.
At Canine Innovation, we're working to develop tools to help humans and their pets combat some of the issues that come with pet ownership. One big issue that I've had is my dog constantly being on guard, looking for something to do pretty much, which often is barking or other misbehaving things that are considered misbehaving. But she was still a puppy when I came up with this, or she was just barely one. But I became sick, and I wasn't able to get out of bed for like over 2 weeks, pretty much. And she was really stressed out, and I noticed that everything was getting worse. Her constantly looking for something to do and something to bark at. She was barking more, and her anxiety was worse. She was constantly sitting and staring at me, waiting for me to tell her to do something. I felt really bad for her because I was sick and I felt kind of helpless, like I didn't know how to help her. So I started Googling how to combat these issues, and found that exercise and mental stimulation are the main ways to reduce anxiety. And I found out that over 72% of dogs display anxiety. So it's kind of crazy. A lot of people dealing with it. And so I ordered an agility course for her and some treat puzzles, and I would let her jump over the obstacles, and then I would give her a treat, and we would do that over and over because it was really easy for me. Even though I was sick, all I had to do was just get up and give her a treat. And then I also had her doing a treat puzzle that I would, it's a plastic puzzle, and it has the dog move pieces in order to find the treats that you hid in the puzzle. So I would give her the puzzle to get her some mental stimulation, and the agility obstacles to get her physical exercise. And I started thinking that it was pointless how I was getting up to give her a treat every time when
I was just going to go turn off my phone. Eric can splice this out. I thought I muted it.
yeah, no worries. Perfect.
Yeah. So you started thinking about it.
Yeah, so I started realizing that if there was some way that I could automate the treat reward every time she jumped over the obstacle, it would be like a puzzle in itself. And I wouldn't have to get up and give her the treat every time. So I could just relax and focus on getting better. So that's when I decided to make it, because I Googled, I saw it wasn't anywhere, and I was blown away actually that that wasn't online yet. So so I had some of my engineer friends help me make one that just put a motion sensor on the hurdle, and connect it to a treat dispenser wirelessly. So every time she jumped over the hurdle, she would hear the treat come out and she could go grab it. And it was really easy. First, I just had her sit, and I put the treat in the dispenser. So I taught her that every time she sits and she gets a reward, she'll get the reward from the dispenser, not from me. And then I graduated that and had her jump over the hurdle. And she knew by then her treats don't come from me, they come from the dispenser. So it was super easy to teach her. And then I realized there's probably a lot of other dogs going through the same issues. Maybe not as psycho as her, but I'm maybe similar. So so I ended up basically starting the company and trying to see what I can do to mass manufacture it. So I'm not to that point yet. I'm still working on developing an app and a better obstacle course that has also light stimulus for the dog and a sound. So there will be a sound command, and then the obstacle lights up, and then the light stays on until the dog goes over it, and then they earn their treat, and the light will go off and the treat will come out. I mean, and you can also set it to a timer, so they only have 5 seconds to complete their trick, or they lose their chance, or 10, or whatever you would want to set it to. And then you can add more obstacles, so they have to go over 2 obstacles to get a treat, or 3, and you can set the course on your phone.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. I'm so intrigued because I always say, in a way, like, I can tell Wiggle's really smart. And I think a really smart dog is actually in some ways more challenging because they're so smart and they need something that's going to be very mentally, demanding to get them mentally exhausted. And I agree with you. Usually if you don't, like, if they don't have, like, if you don't give them a job, they're going to find a job. And usually it's not the one you want them to find.
Yeah, definitely. I feel bad for her because she's so smart, and I just feel like she's almost punished for being so smart, because just there's not enough problems for her to solve all day. So I feel like this will really help with that. And I have had it working at my house. I don't have it with me right now, but the prototype going, and it does help her barking a lot. And I'm super excited for other dogs to do that. And we're partnering with universities to develop it at a better price for me, since I'm new to all of this, and we don't have a ton of funding yet. So we partnered with the University of Texas at Dallas, because they need projects for their marketing and engineering students, and startups like Canine Innovation have projects that we need to get done. So we partnered with them, and then we have 2 teams of marketing students helping me with the B2B and B2C launch plan. B2B to start in doggy daycares, and then B2C, which is for later, for, of course, consumers. And then 6 engineers have been helping develop it for the last year. So it's finally, everything's running and going. We finally have the app. So I'm super excited. In the next few months, I'll finally get to show everyone and bring it to different doggy daycares. I'm so excited.
Wow. Wow. And what a great idea to go to university students to actually, it gives them experience on a real project, like on a project that's going to go to market versus just some hypothetical thing that they
Yeah.
might want to work on. So do all universities do that? Do you
And no, but it's a trend that I think is catching on. I think more people are realizing it's better for, yeah, for the students and for the companies.
know? Wow. What a great idea.
Thanks. Yeah, my advisor um, led me that way, and
Yeah.
it's great.
Oh, it's really, really a brilliant idea.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, so why don't we talk a little bit about anxiety and dominance aggression and how mental and physical exercise actually, help to improve them both.
Yeah. So they did a study in Japan to see what would combat dominance aggression, because that's actually the number one problem, behavior problem presented to vets. I feel like maybe people don't talk about it enough because they're embarrassed. Like me, I'm embarrassed that my dog acts. Uh, she's not aggressive, but she acts aggressive sometimes when she's protecting me. So I think that's just like embarrassing. So maybe that's why we don't like post it all the time and stuff. But it's actually the most common behavior or problem presented to vets. So, and they did a study in Japan and found that exercise and mental stimulation were the biggest helpers when it came to improving that. And also reward based training, which also is part of our thing. And um, for anxiety, I guess that's a lot more common for people to talk about because, like I said, over 72% of dogs display anxiety is was found in a study, and mental stimulation and exercise are also proven to reduce that. So the plan is for this to go into dogs' houses and them to have something to do all day. So when they're sitting, when right now they may be sitting at the window staring or sitting on the couch waiting for you or chewing their bone for hours, then instead they'll actually be listening. And when they react to a sound that they hear, they'll be rewarded for it instead of maybe if someone's home and they might get annoyed by them barking, but I don't think anyone's going to be too annoyed if a dog's just jumping over a hurdle in the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, I speaking from a lot of experience with an anxious dog, I totally understand what you're saying about exercise and mental stimulation. And my dog behaviorist I worked with for many years, I have a treadmill in my house, and it was really for him. It's not meant for speed. It's very slow, actually. It's almost so slow that he has to pause almost. But I mean, he's his leash is hooked on the treadmill, but takes a lot of mental concentration for him to stay on. And it's very like almost kind of so rote and so slow. It's very kind of meditative in a way. And in my old house, I mean, he used to go on like it was like a morning routine. Even if I walked him, it was kind of like he would just get on treadmill and he would walk. And then, but it was so good because it was giving him more exercise than he got, at least some. And then mentally, it was really, really took a lot of concentration. So it was really good for him. So, I mean, this is just a little bit more fun. It seems like it. And
Yeah,
there,
this one, I really wanted to get a treadmill too at one point, but I just it doesn't fit in my budget right now. But with with ours, one thing I really like about it is that you'll be able to switch up the course. So some dogs will, like Tonka sounds like he is totally interested, and like you said, he gets in maybe a meditative state when he does that. But Wiggle gets bored so easily, so I don't know if she would um, always if it would really stimulate her walking on a treadmill for a long time. So I'm excited to be able to switch the course up and challenge her to change her thinking really at just when I say so, and then or when the app says so, and also to have them using it while you're not at home. Because I think the treadmills are really great, and that's one of the main things that people use to exercise their dog indoors.
yeah, I mean, there is the drawback. I mean, it's not like you can put them on a treadmill and leave, you know. I mean, I would never do it without being in the room, let
Yeah.
alone leaving the house. So in that way, I mean, it was great if there was inclement weather and it was icy or snowy outside, and I wanted to make sure he still got, I mean, he still had to go out to go to the bathroom, obviously, but at least he was getting enough exercise or enough mental stimulation to be exhausted. The nice thing about the obstacle course then also is that the course is that you don't have to be home. So you know, your dog will have something to do while you're not there. And so that's really, to me, a huge asset to it that we would want to exploit. And I would assume people who are into things like agility, it's going to be very useful. I know people who have home courses and things like that. So it might be really of use to them.
Yeah, and I'm so excited. I agree with that, and I'm so excited for all of them to start using it and to compete. Because one other thing I'm really excited about on the app is a leaderboard. So we'll be able to see, who's the best, most agile dog in the country that's using our system,
Oh, that
or in
is
the world, I
fun.
guess.
That is fun. So it becomes a little bit of a, contest between parts of the country or parts of the world, possibly eventually.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be fun to have all the different states in the app so we can see which state is at the very top. I have a feeling Texas, where I'm from, won't be in the lead because I think there are a lot more agility dogs up north, but I'm not actually sure about that. So I'm excited to see. Yeah.
Wow, what a cool. Do you have any other future thoughts for things that you might do in the future, or like prototypes or different things you want to add on?
Yes, a collar, so that we'll be able to detect which dog jumped over the hurdle, and then the treat won't release unless that dog is right by the dispenser, so that if you have multiple dogs, you won't have one dog sitting by the dispenser waiting for the other dog to jump and stealing the treat.
Well, that's
Yeah.
funny. I never thought about that, but that's so true. That's
Yeah,
so
I hadn't either, but yeah, one of my advisors, she is so great. She's working at Duke University with their dogs training service dogs in, and she's working on her master's in canine cognition, and she really helped a lot there.
I think that's so funny because dogs are really smart. So they will learn quite quickly that they can just sit by the dispenser and wait, and they don't have to do anything for any food.
Yeah,
Oh,
I hadn't even thought of that either, but because I only have one dog, but definitely, I think, I definitely don't want to leave out anyone with multiple dogs. I want everyone to have access. And another thing I'm really excited about is animal shelters, because I'm hoping that it will be really quick. Because my dog learned it in like 2 minutes, but and I also tried it with, I've done it with a few other dogs, but they're all dogs that knew how to learn really well. They knew how to learn tricks. So I'm excited to try more with dogs who don't know any tricks, and I really want to see if I can get dogs at shelters using it, so that way they can exercise all day. And also at doggy daycares, at least those dogs have a nice home and stuff, but still they're they can sometimes be bored while they're at doggy daycare. And I've asked a lot of daycare owners what their biggest pain point is, and most of them have said that it's keeping the dogs active. So I'm really excited about helping the dogs there and letting them be less bored.
well, also, I'm thinking of the shelters, and if they're learning tricks to do this, it does mean that they're trainable, and it does make it easier, I think, to train. So I would think that that's an asset if you're trying to adopt a dog out that's on rescue, because you know that they have the awareness and the ability to learn and to recognize, rewarded behavior, which is
Yeah.
huge when you're trying to train. Especially if you're doing any sort of positive reinforcement training, where if they do something, they get a treat or whatever, then it just makes it. I always say having a food motivated dog in that way is so good, because they want whatever you have.
Yeah.
If you have a pet that doesn't really care about food, sometimes, I mean, I've trained animals like that, and I'm not an animal trainer, but I've worked with animals. It's a little bit more challenging because they could care less. So
Yeah, definitely. And I think it will be good for if they are not able to trust humans, then maybe they'll be able to trust a machine and still get used to learning commands um, without having to trust a human. Yeah. One other use case that's come up a few times that I definitely want to do in the future, but I just don't have the like I don't have the plan written out, I guess, but to use it for physical therapy in dogs. But I've just been trying to figure out kind of how to make that plan because I know it could be really helpful for that. I just think it may have to be a little different than it is right now because all dogs doing physical therapy probably might not be jumping that much. So I have to figure that out. But I know that will be another use case to use the treat rewards.
have you, is there any mechanism or part of it right now which would work off of, let's say, verbal acknowledgement? So if you did have a dog that was not food motivated, maybe the sound of the owner's voice saying, "Oh, good job," or something like that, which would be a different type of reward versus a treat reward.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about putting verbal rewards, and I that will be a setting on it. I'm not sure if my dog will do that, so I'm really curious. I'm worried that her hearing my voice when I'm gone will make her miss me more, but I'm not sure. I can't wait to see. It will be really interesting.
Yeah, I think it will be really interesting. It'll be interesting because I think they do respond to voice tones so well. I mean, sometimes just a tone of your voice and they can get a reaction from them, good or bad.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with words necessarily, but just the tone of your voice when you say whatever you're saying. So giving them that verbal reward of, like, good job or well done or whatever you say when they've done something really good would be really interesting to see how they react when you're not there or even when you are there.
Yeah, and you'll also be able to record the command in your voice if you'd like to. Because right now I have my dog doing it where she just knows the noise that it makes, and it's like a random electronic noise. But I'm really interested, yeah, to see how that will change or how dogs will react better or worse with their owner's voice. I can't wait to see.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if it's like, just general parenting, where they're going to actually be better if they don't hear the parent's voice.
Yeah. Well, I think my dog really may, I think that may be the case with her, but I don't know. That's just my guess. So,
I would think it would also be useful for veterinarians because depending on how much proper, like their facility, one is also if they do in-house sort of PT or physical therapy, but also if you have a dog that's, well, obviously if they do dog boarding, but I'm just thinking about also like busyness or just if you're, an animal is not very well and is at the vet and maybe they're well enough to move, and how much stimulation do they really get there? I mean, it's also the fact that they're in a strange place. And I would think that, anxiety, fear, it's all basically wrapped around, like it's all package.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm so excited. In the next 3 months, I should have some out at different places and have way more videos to show everyone. And I do have one I'll send your way. I'm not sure if you've seen that.
Yeah, no, that would be great. And I can put it on, can post it a few places to share it with people so that they have the ability to see it in action. And so how many months do you think it's going to, so what's like the projected timeline?
So in the next 3 months, I'll have one, but it's not, that I can manufacture. But the reason I haven't been raising too much money right now is because I'm still figuring out the cost of manufacturing because I'm figuring out what like every little piece I'm going to need to order. So in the next in the next 3 months I'll have that and I should be able to order 500-ish of those and get those out. But it's still going to be super, the earliest version, like all these features that I'm talking about. They're not going to be on the first one. The first one is just going to be the sound command, and it has the light when the command is given, and then the dog um, basically actually just the software is not going to be updated enough. Basically, you can turn it on, you can set it so your dog can go over as many times as they want, and you can um, set the course for them. But there's not going to be a leaderboard yet. There won't be a caller feature to see which dog's jumping over, and everything else in the software. I'm just super excited about people connecting and seeing their dogs um, comparing their dog's behavior. But yeah, that part won't be available yet. Oh yeah, one thing I didn't mention, I forgot, an activity monitor. So you'll be able to see more insight about your dog and how much exercise they're getting.
Uh-huh. Is there any sort of video component to it so you could actually watch your dog doing it if you're not home? Or is that like, because I know there are video monitors you can get to watch your dog when you're not at home, but does this have any feature like that?
The first one won't. Eventually, I definitely want to have that. One big reason that I'm starting B2B is because I want to have a camera on it, and most doggy daycares have the option to have a camera on the dog, so they already have a lot of cameras in there. Eventually, I'm still trying to figure out whether I'm going to have a camera on the dispenser or just by itself, because I think it would be maybe easiest to have it on the dispenser. But right now I'm using a dispenser that's not my product. So I can't just like rig a camera on it as bad as I want to. But yes, in the future, you will be able to watch your dog.
Be really cool. It's kind of, then you can get on from work or whatever and just do a little check-in. Or just if they do it once, it puts you like you get a push message on your phone on the app that says your dog's using it or something so that you can
Yeah.
check out their status and what they're doing or whatever. And then just go from there. And then, should be fun. I would just be intrigued to be able to, I'm home a lot and work from home a lot, but it doesn't mean that he's not, constantly wanting attention, and just have something else that would keep him busy besides for me
Yeah.
would be really good. And some days are worse than others. Like, today he's been very nudgy, like he really wants a lot of attention. Other days it's kind of like I'm not here. So yeah, sometimes I'm like, buddy, give me a little space, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I definitely, well, I don't only think it helps, I know it will help based on those studies. So, as soon as we have it, you'll have to try it with Tonka.
Yeah, no, I'll have to try it and see how he does. And I can't wait to see more film and more footage of all the dogs doing it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would think like, doggy daycare, it's going to be interesting because they have large groups of dogs. So it'd be really interesting to see if like they follow each other, like all those things, which I think that, Tonka's really good watching somebody else do it and then doing it. And that's how, when he first got him, he wouldn't go upstairs. That was like, he was a few months old, he wouldn't go upstairs. And the way he learned was watching other dogs. Like that was, that was the best way for him to learn, even though I was going up the stairs, but watching or wanting to chase another dog up was like, okay, I'll go upstairs too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't even thought of that really. And yeah, I guess other dogs may see that they're jumping over for a treat. Yeah. I'm hoping a cat will use it, or cats, but we'll have to see. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Cats are a little bit their own sort of beings, and depending on the cat though, but I'm sure there'd be cats who would use it.
Yeah. If they want the treat and they learn that that's what they have to do, I mean, I hope. So we'll have to see about that one too.
So you might have a feline innovation too, besides for canine innovation coming forward.
Yeah, if cats take it up, we'll cater to them for sure.
For sure. Oh, that's adorable. That's adorable. So this has been so much fun, and I'm wishing you so much success. And so how can people get in touch with you if they want to like find out more, or if they, want to help in some way?
On our website, we have a form that you can fill out, and that will notify us that you are interested. And that way, when we have the first round of units, we'll be able to contact you and get involved. There's also an investor form on there. So if anyone's interested on that side of things, then you can also fill that one out and that will go to my email as well.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. And we've got a chat because I have a few pet stores I think you should probably reach out to that, yeah, that I'm sure cater to, I want to say not the common stuff. So their clientele is going to be much more, I think, keen on doing something like this versus some of the other. Yeah. So this would be really exciting to see how it all pans out over the next few months. And for everybody else, we'll hopefully, well, see you back in the fact that I hope you join us again. And we look forward to having you listen to more shows, and please send us feedback because I'd love to hear from you. Take care.
So much.
You've been listening to Pets, People, Life, and Longevity, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch every episode at exvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcast app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and wherever you find podcasts.
Talk. Talk.
talk.